Well, hello there. Welcome back to Whirlwind of Weezer. And this time we're covering the span of right after Make Believe was released, starting in 2005 all the way up to 2008 with the release of the Red album. Now, first off, there's a Whirlwind of Weezer touring, starting with the Make Believe tour from April 26th, 2005 to August 26th. And there was the Weezer tour where they played together with the Foo Fighters, and they had like a jamboree, they play with each other's, do covers with each other, and swap instruments and do all sorts of crazy fun stuff like that. And then there was the Japanese Mossburger tour from December 15th to December 22nd, 2005. And the Weezer tour was September 8th, 2005 to October 28th, 2005. In the period after these tours, Rivers returned once again to Harvard and also got married to Kyoko Ito in Japan in June 2006, where they also honeymooned. Now, coming back in late 2006, early 2007, Rivers begins recording a prolific slew of demos, which he would assemble into a large CDR that leaked out in April of 2007, entitled, with like a full booklet, like PDF, booklet with artwork and lyrics and whatnot. The whole package entitled Deliverance at Hand, and I really wish we had this. I've made a playlist that assembles using the tracks that we have that are actually from the demo, but with all the other tracks that were featured, and just trying to approximate the general sound feel of it. A lot of mental work going on there, but it's a good demo. It's a very good demo. Very good demo, featuring such songs as Autopilot, Heart Songs, Here Comes the Girl, I Don't Want to Let You Go, King, Everybody Get Dangerous, Leader of the Pack, Miss Sweeney, My Bark is Worse Than My Bite, My Day is Coming, Piece of the Pie, Respect, Run Over by a Truck, Why Can't You Shut Your Mouth, The Odd Couple, The Things That You Do, and The Angel and the One. Soon after this leak in April 2007 of Deliverance at Hand, the album6.com appears on the World Wide Web with the cryptic message, Album 6 coming soon, linking over to Weezer.com, leaving us Weezheads, those fans out there, wondering if this was an official teaser site, put up by the band, put up by Carl. But no, it was just an overly dedicated fan site. Now still semi-operational, the barren shell of what it once was, known as called All Things Weezer and allthingsweezer.com. The forums are still... Actually, I'm not even sure the forums are still up. I think it's just a dead site, and it just still happens to be accessible. Oh well. That fan site opens up, and eventually it claims that the name of the upcoming album. Clearly, we know fans were aware of the demo out there, even if they weren't really hearing it yet. They're aware of things happening. Album 6 is coming up. Weezer site states, they're recording stuff. And, they put out the totally made up, entirely fabricated name, Tout Ensemble, with the April 22nd, 2008 release date, which was actually pretty much on point. But ultimately, we discover that the name of Tout Ensemble is nothing. It's nothing. It later became like the name of like a cover tribute band type deal based around the album 6, All Things Weezer site. They took the name Tout Ensemble and recorded some stuff. I haven't listened to any of it yet, but I think at some point I'll check it out, see what's up with that. But on like April Fool's Day of 2008, so April 1st, 2008, Weezer reveals the name as the Red Album. I don't remember if they did the cover, if they actually revealed the cover that day, or if they were just like, it's the Red Album. But they probably did the cover, considering how like this was, not too far off from when the alleged release of April 22nd was. Ultimately, that wasn't actually the release date, but a valiant effort. Fan site, valiant effort. Alright, so now, spring 2007. They get into the studio with Rick Rubin, the guru Rick Rubin. The very same man who taught Rivers how to meditate, which Rivers still does to this day, I do believe. And certainly switched up his writing style and got him to branch out more and probably calm down as a person in general and whatnot. It's all good things. Meditation is very good. I also meditate. I encourage everyone to, try it and meditate every once in a while, trying to get a daily regimen of that in there. It'd be very good. But okay, so let's see. What did the band and Rubin work with in this aptly labeled Session 1, ranging from April to... Really? April to October? That doesn't sound right. That's what I got. That's what I got in my notes. But whatever. So like some extended period of time from April onwards in 2008. 2007. Sorry. 2007. Where they worked on Heart Songs. The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, without the subtitle yet. The subtitle would come because, Brian Bell's mom overheard them playing the tape or recording the tape or probably listening to the tape. And she was like, oh, that sounds like a Shaker hymn. So they were like, oh, cool, variations of a Shaker hymn. Let's add that and make this title, this already long title, even longer. So they did that, and Everybody Get Dangerous, Miss Sweeney, King, Autopilot, The Odd Couple, Dreamin', and The Angel and the One. Now, a pretty productive first session. A lot of stuff that ultimately made it on the album or on the deluxe edition of the album, but as well as a couple of things to get carried over that would have totally fit very well on with this configuration of the Red Album that they were working on right here. That's a pretty good mix. Now, sadly, that was the only session with Rick, because apparently he was a little less involved with the proceedings this time. Maybe it was because I feel like, I'm going to confirm this later, hopefully, I'm going to try to, but I was looking into it a little bit already, and I feel like this period may have overlapped a little bit with while he was working with the Red Hot Chili Peppers again. That's kind of like more of his main band. He'd been working with them since the early 90s. And wasn't really ready to stop that up yet. At any rate, he just kind of stopped showing up to the studio at some point. So, when Weezer started session 2, I guess around October, November or something, I don't really have a date for this, but they worked on some of the more eclectic songs of the bunch, in my opinion, a little, I guess. Like certain, like the non-Rivers output, really, but well, also his output, but as well as some covers. But like the stuff, like we did, like Thought I Knew, written by Brian Bell for his other project, The Relationship, which is a much different arrangement of the song than we get here. We got Scott Schreiner's Cold Dark World, which apparently gets some hate. And I don't know why. Is it the song itself or is it his vocals? I don't know, because I listened to Rivers' sung version of that, and I mean, I actually think Scott does it better. I understand why they did it, why they chose to do that. And there was also Pat Wilson's Automatic, which is a banger. I love that song, man. Then we got those like deluxe songs over here, like Pig and The Spider, and their cover of the band's The Weight, and this song Life Is What You Make It, and Mary Curry, the Japanese like Christmas song, as well as Rivers' is It's Easy and I Can Love. I Can Love is a pretty good song, a really good song. I feel like that could have definitely just been on the album proper instead of being one of those tracks that you kind of gotta hunt down. Alright, so this was the no producer session, the self-produced session. So this is one of those like no time. This is like the first time where there's no sole producer for an album. I mean, I guess Maladroit's a little weird. I don't really understand the whole who exactly she gets. I guess if anyone really gets sole credit for that one, it's self-produced, but also Chad Bamford was there and this other guy who worked with them, and I've mentioned him earlier too, but I can't seem to come up with it right now. But this is the first of several after this where it wasn't just a sole producer on the album. Then, as the sessions are ramping up towards a conclusion, they book a third for January to February with Jackknife Lee, who worked on Troublemaker and Pork and Beans, and would also work on some stuff that would end up on Ratitude. But I'll get to that momentarily. But because of the session with Jackknife Lee, they pushed the originally intended April 22nd, 2008 release date. Because now they are entering 2008 and are having a crisis, I guess. A crisis of what they want this album to become. And need some... Well, they approached Jackknife Lee to get some hits. They wanted some radio play, and they needed some new songs to go put them on the charts. And it worked. I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of Pork and Beans, but you hear it all the time, and I'm also not a big fan of Troublemaker, but it's better than Pork and Beans, and you'll hear it quite frequently, but oh well. whatever. At least it's just a mediocre-ish Weezer song versus a mediocre anyone else's song. Not anyone else's, but anyone crappy. And then, so they pushed the release date of the Red Album with this funky cover with Rivers' odd mustache and cowboy look, and just wow. That was pushed back to June 18th, 2008. But ha ha ha. Just like with the Green Album. And yeah, just like with the Green Album, a leak happens. So we get early versions of Troublemaker, Greatest Man That Ever Lived, Pork and Beans, Heart Songs, Dreamin', Everybody Get Dangerous, Thought I Knew, and Cold Dark World were all leaked onto the internet on May 7th, 2008. But it doesn't end there. And these are all like the full version of the song. It's not some proto version, not some and it's not like the Green in that sense where they were quite different than what they ended up sounding like on the album. These were the legit songs. And I feel like I acquired them through these. I know, yeah, I definitely acquired them through these leaks back then, before I got the album proper, and to discover that, yeah, this was the album proper. Chart priming on my iPod for a trip to Paris that year. That summer. Okay, so second part of the leak happens on May 26, 2008, where we get Automatic, The Angel and the One and the Wait. Like, literally, like, just dumping the tracks in order, just ever so slightly fragmented. I mean, we had a couple week wait from the first portion of the leak to the second portion of the leak, where we got the album in its full, and then bonus of the band's cover of the band's Wait. And then Leak Season Part 3 occurred on May 31st, 2008, with Miss Sweeney, Pig, The Spider, and King. And King is so good. King is such a good song, man. Top notch. So, the album ended up releasing ever so slightly early on June 3rd, 2008. Several days after the entire thing was available for virtually anyone to find on the internet. And lo and behold, it was released to much fanfare. It was actually received better than the Green Album, which I thought was very well received. Maladroit, which is criminally under well received, but I appreciate the hell out of it. And Make Believe, which definitely made waves. It was a very good mix, and ultimately I guess Jackknife Lee helped put the album on the map, but the strength of the songwriting there, especially in the early Rick Rubin led session, made for a very warm, comforting, if not ever so slightly disjointed album, but whatever, you used to the flow. And even if I'm not the biggest fan of the Jackknife Lee tracks, they served a purpose, and they're not subpar. It's an album full of quality, and those just don't really really pique my interest quite as much. And same with much of the bonus tracks I don't really care for. I like King a lot though. And with that, until next time, which will be pretty much right now, as I go into Raditude.